Hey everybody, it's Charlie at Charlie Slybox, and today I wanted to take the chance to go through this whole new line of vices from Dyna-King. If you don't know, Dyna-King got purchased by the Mayfly Group about a year ago, a little more than a year ago. Mayfly Group is the company that owns Able, Ross, Airflow, and now also Renzetti, but Dyna-King as well. So they grabbed up Dyna-King, and actually was probably a pretty good thing for both companies, both Dyna-King and for Mayfly Group. And it's taken them a little while to kind of get it all together and get everything sort of up to snuff and up to their specs. And I'm going to talk to you about the new rotary vices anyway. We'll do the conventional vices, the Pro and the Kingfisher. We'll do those on a separate video, but I'll talk to you about the differences between all the rotary vices that they've got. And we get this question a lot here in the shop. So kind of starting with the most basic rotary vise is the Barracuda. The Barracuda has been around for a long time. One of the things that you'll notice about any of the new, I'm going to say Colorado Dyna-Kings versus California Dyna-Kings, the machining is just spectacular. It's so clean on every one of them. It's so smooth. There's no mill marks. Everything looks just really well done. And that's the first thing that impresses upon you when you see one of these new vices. But starting off with the Barracuda, this is the most basic version. And it is a full inline rotary vise. One of the things that the Barracuda or Dyna-King vices have that a lot of other rotary vices don't have is the ability to adjust the plane of the hook. So you can move the jaws up and down by moving this knob. You can tighten or loosen this knob, which will line the shank of the hook up with the center axis here. So if you've got a larger saltwater hook, that jaw might be down a little bit further so that your hook stays true in line as you rotate. On a smaller trout hook, you might need to move that up to keep it in line. So that is an adjustment that most other vices don't have, and that's one of the things I've always liked about Dyna-Kings is that you never get out of round. You can line that straight up. They used to sell a tool to do that, but honestly, it's easy enough to do with your finger. You just kind of draw the line and set the hook up where it lines up with your finger. You'll be pretty darn close to right in line with no rotation. If you're out of line, just to switch sides of the screen, you can see how that's going to make a little bit bigger circle because it's not in line with the stem. But that's one of the things that I like on all of these. Back to the Barracuda though, the Barracuda is the most basic, so it's not going to have as many adjustments. So fixed head, no tilt in here, no tilt here, just a tension adjustment on the rotary. That's what this knob here is. So that'll control, loosen some knobs here. That'll control the amount of tension here. You can make this super slow or fast. And this has the speed knob. All of them have got the speed knobs now. Some of them just used to have just the single spindle, but with the speed knob a little bit more control. So you can control that tension there and snug that down where it's either very smooth, or you can even stop it down where you turn the vise and it's not going to move at all. And then you can use this bottom knob to tighten up for top dead center, where you'll square the vise right up square and it's not going to move at all. So in the case of tying something where it's definitely right on top, or even in the case of just trying to put epoxy on, I like a vise that'll square up like that. That way you know that you're centered. I also do that with weed guards and things like that. So that's the Barracuda. So pretty basic. We'll talk about the jaws here in a minute, but pretty basic as far as the adjustments go. As you move up through the line, you get more and more adjustments, more bells and whistles. And as you get to the Ultimate Indexer, which is a spectacular vise, it's got that same jaw adjustment, so you can move the jaws up and down to keep everything in line. It's got the indexer feature, which is controlled by this knob here. So if I screw this in, as I rotate this vise, it will stop at each one of those detents as I rotate it. So any place along the way. So say for instance you're tying legs and you want to click that hook a little bit more toward you or away from you, it'll lock into any of those positions and very securely. You can control the amount of tension on those detents with this knob here. And if you back it all the way off, those detents all but go away. So that is the indexer part of the Ultimate Indexer vise. The other adjustments are the same. The top dead center and the tension adjustment on the rotary are the same with these two knobs here. And one thing that you get on the Ultimate Indexer that you don't get on the basic Barracuda is the ability to tilt this head. And this is a new vise, so it's fairly tight, but you can tilt that head up a little bit. If you want to tie in a more conventional manner, if you just want to raise the jaws up a bit, you can tilt this head up and down. You can see it's pretty tight. This has got an Allen set over here on this side, so you can control the tension there too, but I actually like it pretty tight so it doesn't move around when you don't want it to. All of them also, while I'm thinking of it, come with a material spring. That's something most vices don't come with. They charge you extra for. These all come with material springs as well. As you come up to the Excalibur, which is the top of the line rotary vise, even more bells and whistles. So you lose from the indexer, you lose the index spot. So there's no detents as we rotate. We've got the tension adjustment and top dead center adjustments, just as usual as we had here, but we lose this knob here. So no detents as you rotate. See if I can get that. You can hear that little clicking noise. You lose the detents on the ultimate or on the Excalibur. What you gain though is not only that adjustment, but also this adjustment here, so you can move the jaws around. And one of the things I like about this, I'm going to turn this around for my left-handed tying style, is you can turn this over and tilt these jaws up and go from a rotary vise to a conventional vise. So you got both. You got it either way, the regular 45-degree angle, or you can actually tilt that down even more. So you can go from a rotary to a conventional vise just by flipping the vise over and using those adjustments. So probably the most functionality out of all the vices on the Excalibur. I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and they've been in sort of short supply, so I haven't wanted to swipe one from the store, but I'm going to probably end up doing it at some point, or I'm going to make Jeff Patterson over there at Mayfly Group give me one because I made this nice video for him. This is not for him, this is for us. As you know, if you followed my tying, I've tied on a Dyna-King vise since 1990. I have a Dyna-King Pro. I still tie on it every day. I'm not a huge fan of rotary vices. I'm becoming a little bit more, I won't say into them, but I've used them more over the last few years. And in large saltwater applications or steelhead fly applications, I actually own a Barracuda and I own a Pro. In large fly applications, I really like them. Most tires these days tie on a rotary vise. I realize I'm a dinosaur. I still tie on an old school conventional vise, but most tires tie on a rotary vise, so that's what everybody's looking for. And I don't know that there's one that's better or worse between a conventional and a standard, or a standard and a rotary vise. I don't know one's better than the other. It's just what you're used to, and I'm used to a conventional vise, although I am getting more used to the rotary vices. This indexer, I really like the idea of that detent. I don't know why exactly, but I just like that sort of machined feel to it. One of the things I've always said about Dyna-King vices is they're sort of hydraulic in their feel and mechanism. And kind of to that end, if I slide this out a bit, come in, and again, I tie left-handed. All of these also come with bobbin hangers. That's something that a lot of rotary vices don't come with these days, but they all now do come with bobbin hangers, and they're easy to move out of the way, pivot up, pivot down, slide around, turn back out of your way. The way the jaws are adjusted on Dyna-King vices are different than what you would think when you hear the word vise. When you hear the word vise, you figure if you tighten it down, it's going to hold better. The way the jaws work on these vices, and there is a whole new jaw design on all of these new Dyna-Kings. And just to show you how this works, there's a forcing cone and then the jaw. The back end of the jaw works against this lever back here that is offset. So as I push this in and tighten that forcing cone down, the forcing cone is what actually adjusts the opening on the jaws. So this is cammed back here, so it's slightly offset and it's got a little detent. And when you lock it down, when you have it properly tightened, it will just click in. You should never have to force this handle down on any of the Dyna-King vices. If you're pushing that handle down very hard, you've got the jaws set up too tight. And what I like to do is adjust that forcing cone and get the hook in there. I just said not over tightened. There we go. Get the hook in there nice and tight. And check to make sure it won't move. And then what I typically will do is back that off a little bit so there's even a little less tension on that. And that hook is not going to go anywhere. That's the most secure holding vise that I've tied on for years and years. This one here has got a like a size 4 or 2 saltwater hook in it, and there's a pocket in these jaws. So the first pocket The very tips of the jaws are serrated, and the serrations on the new jaws are much deeper and harder than the old jaws used to be. So it's much more consistent steel, much more consistent machining um, than what we're used to. You know, you used to wear those jaws out pretty quickly. These new jaws are much more consistent, hard steel, with much deeper serrations in the tips. But then you've also got the sort of trademark Dyna-King pockets, and that first pocket is for any hook size 8 or bigger. The second pocket that's even further back, I would say, would go from about a 4/0 to a 10/0. So, you know, your truly large hooks. This has got like a size 2 in it, and it's in that first pocket. And if you set it in there and get it in just right and actually tighten the jaws down, you can just bend that hook over, and it ain't going to come out. Um, Super tight, super secure, and honestly, some of the finest machining I've seen on anything, which sort of makes sense when you kind of put Ross and Abel and Dyna-King together, that you're going to end up with something like this. Um, these are really, really well-made vices. Every one of them I've been super impressed with. The fit and finish on them is spotless. Um, Huge fans. I couldn't recommend them highly enough. And we'll do, like I say, we'll do a review of the standard conventional vices here as they trickle in. We've got, I think, at this moment, one Pro on the shelf, so I don't want to jazz you all up about it since there's only one left. But we will get more, and there's a little different mechanism on the new Pro as well. It being a longer vise where it would use a longer jaw. They've actually figured out a way to use the same size jaw with a small adapter. So stay tuned for that. There's more of that coming. But that's our review of the rotary vices from Dyna-King. I hope that cleared up some questions. If you have any, feel free to give us a shout here at the shop or comment below, and we'll see if we can't get to it. But best option is to give us a call at the shop. All of these are available at charliesflybox.com, as you know. Give us a shout. Hope you enjoyed that.